She's got that look. She's got that style. She's got that conversation that makes you want to stay for a while. She's the all-American woman. Hi, and welcome to another segment of Women Your Kids Should Know. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about some really exciting women and warriors and adventurers. Now, these are women that totally went against the mold because they did something that they were not supposed to do. Women are not supposed to be physical, and they did it in a time when women were definitely supposed to be petite, do as you're told, sit and listen, but they said no. I am going to do the talking, and you're going to do the listening. And I'm going to have the adventure, and you're going to wait for me at home, or you can come along. So, all right. So our ladies today, we're going to start with one of the ultimate American heroes, Miss Harriet Tubman. Now, this book, I just want to say, is one of my favorites because it's what we call the rookie biographies. And there are a lot of books written with this type of a level reader. Now, this is for our beginning readers because the words are very big and they have the very nice pictures in them. And they help to tell the story. So, and there's not a lot of words. That's why they call it rookie biographies, because they're for the beginning readers that want a challenge, but not too much of a challenge so that they end up struggling more with their reading and not enough of their comprehension. So this, again, like I said before, is about Harriet Tubman. Now, we know Harriet Tubman to be one of the major leaders in the Underground Railroad during the time of slavery to free the slaves. Harriet Tubman was a warrior. I honestly did not know how much of a warrior she was until I saw the movie Harriet. And then I went back and read other books because they don't tell, some of the books I read before didn't tell the whole story. There are some books out there. This is one for your younger readers that don't get too much into the sadness and ugliness of that time as much as they get into the warrior spirit and the adventure that Harriet had and the powerful woman that she became in history. Okay. Oh, and that one was written by Will Mara. Okay. Our next book is about Mary Musgrove, translator and queen of the Creek. This Mary Musgrove was a Native American. She was back during the time before, as America was becoming a United States. She's more known for being a part of Georgia. She's what we would call today a businesswoman, where she translated, but she also owns land. She helped the Native Americans to gain land. She's also today known for a lot of the things that she did that contributed to Georgia becoming a state. And she's just a wonderful woman. So this book that I want to talk about is a Thousand Readers series. There are a lot of different biographies and stories in this series, and it's not only a book, it's also an activity a book. So you can do the activities at the back to see how well you remember what you read before. And it also has a glossary to help you with some of the words that you might not know. Mary Musgrove was a major part of the America and American culture and American history. Oh, and Native American culture as well. All right, so our next person that we're going to talk about is Sacagawea. Now, Sacagawea was, or Sacagawea, I heard it said both ways, Sacagawea and Sacagawea. So, but this most adventurous woman, as you can see, she has a baby on the back, but when she started out with Lewis and Clark, she went with her husband and she went to be a translator, and she had just had her baby. So it was a struggle for her because she was a young mother trying to take care of her baby at the same time, translate for Lewis and Clark, and also at some points guide them, be a guide as well to some places that they didn't know. And she was also a peacemaker when it came to when Lewis and Clark were had to have conversations with other Native Americans. Sacagawea was a tribute to her community and to the Native American culture as well. She did a wonderful job, and a lot of the times her contributions get covered over because she was with Lewis and Clark, who were the men that are well known for traveling all over the world. But without Sacagawea, they wouldn't have been able to do as much as they did, and they probably wouldn't have been able to get as far as they did. So she was a major contributor, and even though she wasn't necessarily put in the history books initially, she is now. So this is one of the books in the Who Was series about biographies about great people, and Sacagawea is one of those people. Alright, so our next person is Joan of Arc. Now, Joan of Arc, some people may remember. Kids, I have two books for her. Now this book, even though it's a small book with little illustrations and stuff, it is still has a small writing, which is not always fun for our young readers. But this may be a good one still for our third graders and up. And these little, what they call pocket bios, the reason they're so small is that you can put it in, probably not your pocket, but you can put it in the small pocket of your book bag, and it wouldn't take up very much space at all. And it gives a brief biography of Joan of Arc. For those of you that don't know, Joan of Arc was a great warrior. She fought for her people, and she listened to the voice of God to help to guide her along her way. And she was ridiculed because she was a woman, because she said she heard voices, because no one expected her to do the things that she did. And even when things became so dire for her that all she had to do was say what the people wanted her to say, she still chose to do what was right for her and her people. And she chose what she knew would be the best for her people. And she did it. She's an excellent guide when you're talking about someone who follows their heart and is strong in spirit and mind. Joan of Arc. Now I have two books. Now the other book that I have for Joan of Arc is one that's more for the fifth graders and up, because again it has these beautiful illustrations, but it also has a book. Now this one, I think even the second graders might like, even though it's in italic type font, it is still very nice. This may be in the illustrations are really beautiful, very artistic. So those are two books about Joan of Arc that I think that kids would enjoy. Now, our honorable mentions are Pocahontas, who we know also helped during the time when the Americas were being united or being created, and she was a translator as well. Unlike the Disney cartoon, she was much younger, even though she did help the Americans, she did not marry one. But she did contribute greatly to her Native American tribe and to the people, the Americans as well, in helping as a translator. And then we also have Princess Diana. There are multiple number of books and magazines written about Princess Diana. Unfortunately, I didn't have any. But if you go to your local library now, people like her to be considered as America's princess or the world's princess, because she did so much wonderful work for the world. I consider her not only an adventurer, but a philanthropist, because the things that she did, she doesn't necessarily go around fighting and with her sword, but she uses her voice and her spirit in a time, or used rather, because she's no longer with us, but she used her voice and her spirit and her heart to give her message of love to people, to let them know, hey, there's a better way to do things. And yes, I may be a princess, but I'm also a person. So those are the people that are the ladies, I should say, that are our adventurers and our warriors. I hope you enjoyed this segment. And please, if there's somebody that I missed, or some questions or comments you have about the women that I talked about today, please leave a message down below. And I will see you next time.